Welcome, exiles! Today we finally have a final version of One with Nothing Cyclone Gladiator. Now this thing has been pushed to its limits, it can be pushed further, but next investment is probably upwards of 10-20 exiles, and then after that 100, so I would have to spend lots and lots of currency, probably have to craft some stuff and have an RNG on my side to actually get those items. I also would go double crafting stuff, and that's costly and it's going to take a lot of time, and I still want to try out a few more builds before the season ends. The herald stacking is going away next season for sure, so I want to give it a go. I'm probably going to get bored after a day or two and move to something else, but it's not going to be around next season, so I want to try it out. This build has been pushed. Durzo managed to push it up to 80 million damage. I have his POB with 80 million damage. He's trying to push it above 90 million damage, but it's kinda really hard. Last time he told me that he invested a lot of currency and didn't get much damage out of it. So you can expect around, on a normal budget, around 20 million damage. On somewhat bigger budget, like maybe, when I can say normal budget is around 50 exiles, some bigger budget would be 70 to 100 exiles, then you can expect around 30-40 million damage maybe. And if you have like mirror tier, few mirrors to invest, then you can expect what Durzo has, that is 80 million damage. And all the builds are actually pretty tanky because it's Gladiator, obviously. In the description you'll find quite a few things, including timestamps and a forum thread with everything like POBs, links and what have you. And in the forum thread you will find at the top a build guide that is actually going to be a link to this video. Probably if it updates in the future, it's going to be a link to the latest and greatest video if it doesn't die for next season, because it might get nerfed. I really doubt that One with Nothing is going away like herald stacking, but it might not be as powerful as it is now. There's a budget variant that you can start on 100-ish chaos. There's Gladiator, me messing around with trying war cries and blood explosions. It's pretty fun build, but it will require a lot of currency to min-max it and actually be as good as the regular one. There we have I also included the link to the Berserker one here. That's going to open this thread. You can do like war cries and things like that if you're kind of interested in that. You have example clears of things, though these are a bit outdated with where when I had like maybe maybe 10 million damage, 15 or so, so they're not like that crazy, but still you can see that it clears pretty much everything, and it's maybe more representative of what you will get, so you can check those videos. You have POBs here. I'm going to update this after after I'm done with this video, so you will be able to get the latest and greatest POB that's used in this video. You will have to download the POB fork. It's really simple to do so, and we'll do that also in this video. This is going to be like the POB. I'm going to update it. It's not now what it's supposed to be, but you will be able to download the POB from there, and you also have like some random stuff at the end. But that is all in terms of what you can find for this build. Now, let's get to that forked version of POB. In this part of the video, I'm going to give you a quick tour of path of building, then we'll get to the build so you can get your way around. The thing is, I'm using the community version because that one calculates the damage properly and supports all the items that I'm using in the build because they are new this season. They're probably going to be implemented in the regular path of building for the next season, I'm guessing. But to get the one that I'm using, you are going to go to this URL that is like the community version. It's supposed to say community up here. and you download the zip version so it doesn't like mess with your regular installation. The zip version is going to be like a portable version. You just hit download. It's going to take a minute to get it from the internet. Once it's downloaded, you will need a zip program to unzip it, some zip program. I personally use a 7-zip. It's free and I always recommend it, so you can download that if you don't have like either 32 or 64-bit version, if you don't have a program to unzip it. So you just right click 7-zip or any zip program that you have, extract files to like this folder. Once you go in there, you just launch the Path of Building program. First time you launch it, is going to download more stuff from the internet because it's a community version, and the regular version can also be upgraded into a community version. That's why it's doing this stuff. But once it's downloaded, let's see how it looks. Okay, that took just a second. I didn't need to pause the recording. So it should say POB community fork down here. Now I'm going to bring my version of it because I have some, like, this one is clean, doesn't have any builds, so this is how it's going to look once it's downloaded. But I need some builds to actually show you things and show you around how to use it. So just a second, I'm going to bring the other one. There we go. This is like the build that I'm going to be presenting to you, but let's first go over how the Path of Building works. So first of all, to actually import anything, so if it's like on a new, like there's nothing and you want to import, you go to import, and you need a paste bin that you're going to copy from the forum. So let's go back. One that you want to use, so let's say you want to use this one, that's 100 chaos variant. You just Control C, Control V here, and you click import, and there you go. You have successfully imported the build into POB, which is awesome. So now on the left side you can always see what I picked for bandits. Did I do 2 points Alira? I usually do 2 points almost always. Then you can see the pantheons. For this build I'm doing Lunaris Shakari, so you can always check that here. Then you see the skill that I'm using and how much like it's Cyclone, on how many stages and how much damage it's doing. Like this is a budget variant of the build. Next, you will find, not in all of them, but in some of my my builds, you will find multiple skill trees that are going to guide you to progressing the levels. Obviously, I didn't do that for the last one, like the full beefy variant, because I'm expecting you to kind of know your way around, or you played with the budget variant and you're switching to that one, so it's not really needed. Then we have skills here. You can see like what skill I'm using, Cyclone, all the links, so you can follow along and slot everything in that's needed. You can see where it's being used. You can see the other ones. We'll go in depth what kind of skills I'm using, the skill tree and everything in the next section of the video, but for now it's kind of just an overview of battle building. So here we have all the items that I'm using. There's also like multiple sets of items, but I haven't used that so far. You have calculations for additional information. You also have configuration up here. This is where you can check if do you have frenzy charges, do you have challenger charges, have you been hit recently, what stance you are in, what type of enemy you're fighting, and so on and so forth. If you actually want to share the POB with me, then you do that by clicking on generate, share with pastebin, and just copying the pastebin. And you can simply share it with me or with anyone that you want to share it with. You can also save the build, and I have a whole bunch here. You just press Ctrl S and you give it a name. So let's say Actually, let's say I'm in this build, and let's say change something, and I want to save it. You can save as, and name it, so you can keep it around if you want. But that's the gist of it. You have your full skill tree. Unlike in game, you can see all the classes, so it's really good for theory crafting. And I really recommend getting to know how to use Path of Building, because you're going to make your builds way better, and it's really fun. I actually spend more time messing with POB than actually playing the game, so yeah, there's that. Once you downloaded the POB and set up everything, you can import the POB from the forum thread, which is going to be this one, and we can get started, so you can follow along. First of all, let's go over like this side, 2 points, Lunaris Shakari for Pantheons, Cyclone, yeah, and this one is doing around 28 million damage. I didn't push it any further than that because, I don't know, I'm getting bored with playing a Cyclone, so I'm going to do something else. But as I said, it can go way further. Now, as for the skill tree, nothing has really changed from the previous one, but for ascendancies, you really want Arena Challenger, probably first while you're leveling, then you want to go through here to Painforged, and then to Versatile Combatant. Versatile Combatant is really cool because your attack... blocking attacks is equal to blocking spells, basically, so you just push your attack block and you get spell block in return. And you also want to get your max block from Violent Retaliation, +4 to maximum chance to block attack damage, and this is basically your ascendancy. The order is Arena Challenger, Painforge, Versatile Combatant, then Violent Retaliation. Then as of skill tree, it starts on this side. It's basically a giant spaghetti. Goes through here, grabs Art of Gladiator for dexterity, ignores move penalty from armors, and so on. Go to here, I have Watcher's Eye. This was Mikey's Watcher's Eye. When he finished the league, he gave it to me to play around. It's one for Pride. Impels you, inflict less 2 additional hits while using Pride. You can get really better ones with double or triple Pride. That is something that Durzo has, and those are really expensive. Then we have here some resists, going through here and grabbing Brutal Restraint here. Now this Brutal Restraint is actually not correct, because in game it's actually going to give me 5% dex on here, and you can also roll it to be 5% dex here. Brutal Restraints, you have to roll them with Divines to actually get stats on these notables here, and that could be simulated by simply grabbing where is the brown jewel? The brown jewel, where are you? I cannot find anything in here. Brown jewel, there we go. So I'm going to grab like this % dexterity. I could have typed that, but knowing me, I know that I'm going to probably misspell it, and I'm going to add that to the Brutal Restraint. In game I have it on 5%, so that's simulating what I have. Durzo simulated with 10% because that's what he has. And if I hop really quickly in game, you can see what the Brutal Restraint is actually doing. So each of these nodes is giving me 4 dex. These bigger ones, this one is giving me 5% dex, and I have increased evasion here. Preferably I want to get % dex there too, but I don't have it. And if I pull the Brutal Restraint out of the socket, it's giving me 100 something dexterity. You can get way more out of it. You can also try the other location, like in here, but because we've traveled so far, here we get lots of dexterity from just split personalities, so the Brutal Restraint kinda loses a bit in its like effectiveness, I would say, because here you have way more notables to play with, but it's still like a pretty nice jewel to have in here. so it's not like a wasted slot there. You could slot in something else, but yeah. That's your brutal restraint. Now my damage went a bit up. That was kind of weird. Where's my damage? I know it should be around almost 30 million. Then we go through here. I haven't been able to replace this brown jewel for a long time. I could probably get corrupted, like one with nothing, with corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on you, and put something in. But trust me, this thing is pretty good. Even Durzo hasn't replaced it yet, and he spent way more currency on the build than me. Then we go through here and get some resists, life. Then this is interesting. We have this jewel, red nightmare, which is going to give you block if there is fire resist in radius or all resist. So if I remove this, and where's the block? I don't see it when I remove it. Oh yeah, here it is. Like, it's on 79. It's 70. It should be 10%, but because we're overcapped over to 80, then it's giving 9. So you get 9% block chance there, which is huge. Go through here, our first class jewel. Go grab your one with nothing, obviously, and it's going to give you damage when you're encumbered. So you get 60% more attack speed while you're encumbered, and 14 to 20 added physical damage per 10 dexterity while you're encumbered. Encumbered meaning no gloves, no weapons. And that is where all of our damage comes from. It's pretty crazy jewel. Then we have the split personality here, which gives we can check it in game how much it's giving, but it's also getting multiplied by our gear, our percent dexterities and things like that. So like this one is 85. Then we go through here, another split personality for 85. Then we have some block here. Then we have some block, even more block here. Then we have another like split personality for 95, and all of these jewels are doing deep cuts and feed the fury, so all of them are same. That is somewhat the best combination, but you don't have to go for that if you don't have currency to make them or buy them. We have this percent dex here, which is awesome. Another split for 96 dexterity. Go to here, another same jewel. And another split, another feed the fury, another deep cut. It's pretty simple. So that's kind of the skill tree there, and the Anoint is Master of Force. Then we move to skills. The skills are obviously Cyclone with these links. I have Awakened Brutality too. You have this is pretty standard for like Cyclone. I won't even try to tell you what the 5 link should be, because you should have a currency to actually do 6 link at this point. We have Blood and Sand and Val Molten Shell in boots. You can do it anywhere you want to. Then we have Phase Run, increased duration, so Phase Run lasts for much longer, and Phase Run itself, it gives 29 more melee physical damage for really short duration and consumes your frenzies. Since you're consuming frenzies, you need blood rage to actually generate them. Then we have Flesh and Stone linked with Maim for like some ridiculousness in damage. We have Pride, which also gives us a lot of damage. Don't forget Pride. We have Ancestral Warchief. When it's active, it's also giving a lot of damage if you're near it. We have the Red Banner for capping our Impales. It's also giving a lot of damage. And vulnerability is coming from the Ring. Next, let's move on to the items. We're obviously not using weapons or gloves because we have to be unarmed. For our helmet, it's some generic helmet with lots of resists life, and it also has increased cyclone damage, which is why I got it. Then we have Wild Wrap, which is a pretty nice item because it gives percent dex in the increased damage per 15 dexterity, which is pretty good for us. You're going to have a hard time replacing with some rare chest. Then we have boots, Garkan Flight's really good boots for life, because they give you two maximum life per 10 dexterity. You have a like, ridiculous amount of dexterity, so it works really nice. We have Astromantis for all attributes, keeping our intelligence, so we can use our infused channeling, and it also gives you I'm an anointed Master of Force on it. For our rings, we have one ring that has curse enemies with vulnerability on hit. Nothing special about it in like other terms, and it has one socket, so we can socket in Blood Rage in there. The other one is the -8 to total mana cost of skills, with also one socket, so I can socket in even more gems, because we're so strapped on like having sockets. So it's really bad ring, it's not that good. I actually destroyed my ring that I was using before that, so this one was like really quick fix with can have up to 3 crafted modes, so I can keep my resists, and it's a terrible ring in terms of how it turned out. Either way, we have a Cyclopean Coil belt for increased attributes, and it also gives a lot of life, and you cannot be frozen if you're wearing this one. It gives you a bit more damage per like your lowest attribute, which is going to be our intelligence. That's why I'm saying like the Astromantis is pretty good, because it's also intelligence is giving you a bit of damage. It's not crazy, but yeah. Then we have our flasks. Lion Roar is really good, and you should never replace it because it gives so much damage. Roomies for keeping our block chance. They do not stack their armor, which is a bummer, but they are also really good flasks. Then we have an immunity to curses and sulfur on a sulfur flask. It doesn't have to be on sulfur, it can be on anything you want. We have basalt flask for reduced physical damage and immunity to bleeding, and we have a quicksilver flask. If you're running some boss fights, you might want to slot in some a life flask, so you can regenerate your life for boss. If you get hit and you cannot leech in some phase, then you probably need a life flask in that situation. Other than that, we already went over all of the jewels, so nothing new there. So this is pretty much what we have. The other thing that I really wanna go over is how to deal with mana, because this is not like the only way, this ring. There is a different way to get your Cyclone to 0 mana cost, and I'm going to plug something in from the previous video that I already recorded, so enjoy. How do I sustain my Cyclone mana cost without having any mana leech, nor do I have mana potions? And the answer is rings. The rings can have minus and like some number 2 total mana cost of skills, or channeling skills have -3 to total mana cost. So these are one is like this -9 is expensive and it's a drop. You cannot like enchant it. It's an Elrond ring that drops in Syndicate encounters. So if you're doing Syndicate and you see the rings, if you see Elrond, if he drops something, double check if it's this kind of ring, because it can be expensive. That's kind of tip there for you guys, but you cannot really farm it, because it's going to like you will have to do so much Syndicate to actually get one, and to get one with actual good stats is not gonna happen. So if you want that kind of ring, you will have to fork out maybe 5 exiles to get it, to get a good one. The less expensive ones are around one exile is like the baseline, and those with 1 exile are garbage basically. Other stats are it's useless, so I wouldn't really get that one that's 1 exile. The other option, much cheaper option, but it's only cheaper if you know how to make it cheaper, is to get channeling skills have -3 to total mana cost. Now you can have this on rings and on the amulet, but we cannot have it on the amulet because we are using Astra Mantis. So the other option is to get on Astra Mantis lucidity. You can anoint it, and this is going to give you another channeling skill have -3 to total mana cost, making everything up to 9. If you're running 5 link, you don't actually have to anoint lucidity, it's just fine to have -6. However, if you have a 6 link, the cost of skills are going to be more than 6, so you have to have lucidity too. And lucidity will also give you another 30% increased damage, which is fine with me. There are better anoints, but this one is cheap and it solves a problem. And coming back to rings, I will make a separate video on how to make these rings, because they are expensive either way, even if you're not getting the one that has -9 to total mana cost of skills. I don't think actually people know that this one exists. I didn't know. I found out about it by like simply searching on POE trade, and like, what? There's -9 to total mana of skill? Oh, I have to get that one. That's how I found out, but I didn't know, like going into this build, I didn't know that that existed. So people don't know about that, and they keep forking out 1 to 2 exalts for the rings that are channeling skills have -3 to total mana cost of skills. Don't do this. This is like throwing money in garbage. There is a better way. Buy a ring with open prefix, and then if you don't have the enchant, go into global chat and ask somebody to enchant it for you, or ask a friend that has that. I don't have it, my friend has it, so he enchanted it for me. But that ring with open prefix, it's going to cost you around 10 chaos with a decent life, with 3 resistances, which are rolled pretty good, and you might, if you want to fork out even more money, you can get dexterity rings. Just saying. So you can have a ring that's GG, and then you just add this enchant. And now this ring that used to cost around 20 chaos costs 2 exalts. Just saying. I sold like 6 or 7 rings like that. I didn't really do that for a profit because I think that's boring. I did it because I had them. I had to shuffle my rings quite a few times when I was changing my helmet. Now I have one that gives 40% Cyclone increased damage, and I've changed it a few times, so and I might change it one more time. So every time I change that head, or I changed the boots, or I changed something, I had to change the rings so I get resist capped. So I had 6 or 7 rings so far that have channeling skill -3 to total mana cost, and I paid usually up to 20 chaos for each one, and I sold some of them for 1 exalt, some of them for 2 exalts. So just saying, don't buy it, craft it, it doesn't take too much time. So I will make a video on how to buy that ring, so you can go to trade site and like how to select it and how to craft it. I will ask a friend to record the craft, and I will also show you how to farm this enchant, because I want to farm it for myself, to have it. Just like I want to see if I can farm it really quickly. There's one trick to farming it, but I will keep that for a different video. So sorry if this like took a bit longer, but I just wanted to throw that information in here because it was confusing many people. But that's why we have timestamps. If you don't want to see a particular part of the video, just skip it. I'm not going to like keep you there. So let's move on to the next stuff. Okay, the next question that keeps popping up so many times, actually more than previous one, is why do I have disabled items? Like I have this one, I have 2 more here. The only reason is leveling gems. Like there is no other mysterious reason. I don't get stats from that weapon. I have it this way. Like if I unequip this for like second, unequip everything. I will show you like what's going on. So if I unequip everything, I cannot bring this here, yeah. But we are counted as, if we look at our damage is fine, it works. However, if I were to put something that, some weapons in here, it would stop working. And I will demonstrate this by grabbing some int gear. I have these boots, I think, yeah, they're intelligence. We'll remove our boots here. I will grab this ring and remove this ring, and grab this armor and remove my armor, and okay, misclick there. Okay, leave it like that, doesn't matter. As you can see, now it's possible to actually equip this stuff. Should I have like something else to equip this? It requires... Oh, I know what's amiss, yeah. I have this brown jewel, which gives minus intelligence. We'll remove that so we can equip gloves. Okay, so if we open our inventory, if I go, like, and I look my damage, I don't have Cyclone, but it's still kind of fine. I mean, we get damage. However, if we put gloves, boop, 28 damage. So it doesn't work, like... Yeah, we have to be encumbered. However, I drop this. It's still like broken. It's still broken, but I have a whole bunch of gear that I can level up gems in. And I just remove this. And remove, was it this ring with int? Yes. And remove this. Oh, the damage is back. Cool. Now I can put this in, and put this in, and put this in. And bring back my brown jewel, which has corrupted blood, cannot be inflicted, really important stuff, get one, just saying. We'll go over that a bit later on, but still. And now I have, as you can see, my Cyclone damage is fine and dandy, it works, it's even more if I do this. But yeah, like, we have a whole bunch of damage, and we have a whole bunch of slots for leveling gems, 16 of them. So I can level 16 and power gems, corrupt them, and sell them for lots of profit, guys. So... this build is super profitable, and it keeps tripping people up, like why I do have like these disable slots. The only reason, leveling gems for profit, like there is no mysterious other reason. I don't get stats. People are even more confused if people use Mjolnirs. I've seen people use Mjolnirs on POE Ninja. Mjolnirs are not actually a good way to level up gems. It's better to get like these ones with +7 quality of socketed gems enchants if you can. It's not big deal if you don't, like that's only for empower and enlighten gems. For other gems doesn't matter. So yeah, like not really important to get that, but it's tripping people so badly, and I wanted to explain it. So let's move on. I kind of hammered it probably enough, and you probably understand why this is happening, and so we can move on. This has been all, Exiles. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.